DZRJ 810 AM, the voice of the Philippines, proudly brings you Equal Justice. Find out the hottest legal issues of the week and hear the analysis. And now, here are your hosts, Attorney Abel Tolentino.
We're making account of what transpires.
Attorney Paul Sangalan.
Your concern.
And Attorney June Quicho.
Right, of the country. And many tourists, while still waiting for Chairwoman Dina Sarmiento. Niva, you have friends to greet.
Yes, I have a friend in LA, California.
And they're listening?
Hi, Lolit Liedo of the Filipino Workers Center of Southern California. At ang sabi niya ay maraming Marcos human rights victims sa Amerika.
Well, they ought to be listening now, and they can follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/dzrj810am, or they can listen to us via Ustream, USTREAM. That's www.ustream.tv/channel/dzrj-810-am. Or you can join us. You can join our discussions by calling up 895-4460 or 897-83. Sorry, 74. That's 897-8374. Or you can follow us on Twitter and also. Oh well, I've already said Facebook. Yeah.
Chair Lina is here already.
Oh yes. Okay. Oh good. Hi. Good afternoon po.
Mom, you can take this.
Yes. Okay. And here she is, the woman of the moment. Human Rights Victims Claims Board Chairwoman Lina Sarmiento, the former General of
Philippine National Police.
Good afternoon po. I am June Quicho and this is Niva Gonzalez. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon din sa inyo at saka sa inyong mga masugid na taga-subaybay. Maraming salamat sa pagkakataon.
Yes, this is really very interesting for us because we realize that the claim has to be made, no? For compensation has to be made within a very short period of time from May
September
until
November 10.
Until November
May 12 until November 10. That's the period of filing.
Period of filing. Okay. So
the award would be given.
The award would be given later.
Okay.
But we were only given 2 years.
Yes.
The board.
Yes.
The board was only given 2 years to complete its task, its mandate of distributing the monetary reparations to legitimate claimants.
Yes. Okay. And there are already, I suppose, when you talk about human rights victims, the law already says that those who filed who joined the Hawaii claim
are presumptive.
Yeah, they were given conclusive presumption.
They were given conclusive presumption, but do they have to make any claims?
Yes, they have to file. Number one reason is we do not have a list. We already sent a letter to the judge in the Federal Court of Honolulu. We do not have any reply as of now. So we do not have a basis who are those to be given conclusive presumption. And another important factor is the law mandated the board to award points.
Yes.
So how do we give the points?
Yeah.
If we do not know what happened to them?
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So importante.
That's actually what interests us because what you have right now is a 10 billion peso fund, right? And this is this fund has its own story to tell,
Yeah.
because it was given to us by the Swiss government in a very breakthrough fashion.
Yes.
I understand, but because we're running out of time, I would like to skip that very interesting point. No, of the 10 billion pesos, how do you divide the 10 billion pesos? Because I suppose that your operating funds will come from that as well.
Our operating funds will also come from that. It's around, it's actually 100 million pesos.
100 million.
For 2
Because
years.
you're only given 2 years, and your budget cannot exceed 50 million per annum.
year.
Tipid naman.
Oo. Kaya marunong kami magtipid. Yung mga kasama ko masaya. Right now, we are sharing one table. Pero later on, maayos din. Pero what is important for us is we already attend to the claimants, even if our administrative requirements are not yet in place, because we have yet to make some renovations in our office, and that also takes time. But we agreed that we will prioritize the claimants. Anyway, in due time, we will be able to have our own offices. But but then, sabi ko nga kanina, yung mga points, kailangan natin malaman yung storya para maibigay natin yung puntos, di ba?
Pero ibig sabihin, for those who have who were able to claim already under the Hawaii suit, yung ganun, yung kwento is just for the point system, ganun ba yun?
Una, wala nga kami pagbabasihan. Nasaan yung listahan? Wala.
Walang listahan.
Wala. So, the official is
10,000 of them.
Yeah.
Hindi, pero like halimbawa, sabihin mo, if they claim, and then they were able to present, halimbawa, the checks that they already got from
that's what they do.
evidence.
That's what they do right now. They present
the checks that they
even
got.
the envelopes that they got.
They're just very fast yung sa kanilang process, no? Except that as I understand it,
so sandali, kapag ganon, they present the checks and then they just write down ano yung nangyari sa kanila during martial law, and then hindi na kailangan ng iba pang mga documentary evidence like third party affidavit, whatever. O kailangan pa rin yun?
Kasi actually, yung nangyari sa Hawaii, separate naman yun. That is separate and distinct from
this one.
What we are doing, pursuant to Republic Act 10368, no? But the law gave the claimants, the members of the class suit, and the direct action plaintiffs conclusive presumption. Pero may kadugtong, however, it does not prevent the board from exercising its original jurisdiction.
Which means?
So merong kadugtong. Ibig sabihin, pagka sakaling may nakasama doon na hindi pala beyond the period. For example, may nakasama doon na beyond the period, sabi ng period doon sa batas, February 25, 1986, and 1 month thereafter. Kung merong nakasama doon, ano na pala, April 1986. Ibig sabihin, hindi na pwede yun, di ba? Kaya, sabi ng batas, state agent.
Hindi, pero kasi like halimbawa, meron akong isang friend who's now based in California na claimant dun sa Hawaii, yung ganyang klase. At ang sinasabi niya, nawala na niya yung mga dokumento niya nung release papers, etc. And it's 30 years ago. Nakalimutan na rin niya yung eksaktong nangyari sa kanya, yung ganyang klase. So, sabi niya, anong kailangan kong gawin? At tapos sabi niya yung mga nakasama ko doon, like halimbawa sabihin natin disinterested party affidavit. Sabi niya, hindi ko na rin mahanap yung mga kasama ko. Ang pwede na lang mag-testify, halimbawa, mga kapatid ko na tumulong mag-asikaso sa akin when I was incarcerated.
Alam nyo, bawat isang tao may kanya-kanyang kwento at saka may kanya-kanyang mga dokumento kung paano patutunayan yung nangyari sa kanila. Ang sabi ng batas, ang mga dokumentong ito ay pag-aaralan ng board through its divisions. Kasi hindi naman ako lang yung nando doon. Ibig sabihin, kahit na sa tingin ko yun ay ayos, Pero sa tingin ng aking mga kasama ay kulang pa ang kanyang pagpapatunay na hindi nangyari sa kanya, o maaaring hindi maisama siya sa lehitimo claimant.
Ano po ba yung mga ano po ba yung mga normal, usual documents that would make it more easy, should I say, for a claimant to make his...
Actually, napakaluwag ng board sa mga claimants kasi ang mga nakalagay doon dokumento ay maaaring meron sila o kaya naman madali nilang kuhanin. Kagaya kung aresto sa pamamagitan ng ASO, PDA o PCO, maaaring kung meron silang kopya, pwede silang...
Pero karamihan kasi nitong mga aktivistang ito, hindi naman nagtatago ng dokumento at kung palipat-lipat ng bahay, nawawala sa process.
Maaari ding yung kanilang pagkakulong ay na-document ng mga
sa dyaryo, lumabas sa dyaryo.
Society organizations o kaya yung kanilang pagka-release, di ba? Merong mga
sa
maraming pinakawalan, di ba? No? Merong mga newspaper accounts na pinapakita itong mga ito, pinalaya na, di ba? So may mga ganon, di ba? Yung mga dokumento na pag nakita ng board, ito ay totoo, nangyari talaga ito sa kanya, yung masatisfy ang board. Kasi importante yung due diligence. Kasi ang board talaga kailangan mag-exercise ng due diligence to protect legitimate claimants. Baka kasi may makalusot na hindi naman lehitimo. So yung interest naman ng lehitimong claimants, yung maaapektuhan. So kami sabi namin, we will exercise due diligence.
So pag nag-decide ang board, dapat unanimous decision yan or a majority decision? Majority decision.
Do you make decisions by division or ano? Because I understand you have 3 divisions, di ba?
Yeah.
May isa pa hong nakalagay sa batas na
division, gusto ko lang emphasize na division composed of 3 members.
Yes, na yung mga pangalan nila ay naka-inscribe doon sa bantayog ng mga bayani. Do they enjoy the same presumption as that of the... kasi ang pangalan ni Jess na kasama po ay naka-inscribe doon sa bantayog. Hindi naman siya nakulong. But the conclusive presumption din po ba yun?
Ang sabi ng batas, yung kanyang karapatang pangtao ay naabuso ng panahon ng martial law. So alam natin, sa bantayog ng mga bayani, meron doong mga napasama o kasama na beyond the period. Kaya ito ay pinag-usapan na namin na hindi talaga pwede dahil very specific yung batas kung anong period lamang sila pwede. So, nag-usap na kami ng bantayog ng mga Bayani Foundation. Binigyan na nila kami ng listahan. But just the same, kailangan pa rin pumunta sa amin yung heirs, yung legal heirs ng mga bayani dahil alam mo inaayos namin yung database yun yung mga pinag-usapan na rin namin ito ng bantay ng mga bayani. Kung marami naman kayong magkakapatid, wala na yung tatay at nanay, dapat yung magpag-file on behalf of the
other siblings,
the claimant. Yung representative should have special power of attorney signed by the other siblings. Yung aming mga ginagawang ito ay dahilan doon sa mga karanasan doon sa kaso sa Hawaii. Merong mga magkakapatid daw na nag-aaway dahil
hindi sila nabigyan,
nag-aabot, tapos meron pang...
Hindi naman sila ang nabugbog.
Patay na kasi yung claimant.
Meron ding tiyuhin, yung nakakuha, hindi nakuha ng mga anak. So may mga ganon. Kaya yung aming mga proseso ay naging ganyan yung mukha dahilan sa karanasan ni Attorney Swift at ng CHR sa kanilang pagdidistribute ng pera. Kasi yung kanila, they identify the claimants when they are already distributing the check. So the claimants will present
identification papers.
Kami, umpisa pa lang, we identify the claimant already. Parang kung sa bangko, know your client. So, umpisa palang patunayan mo kung sino ka. No? So, they have to present their proof of identity. Sino ka, anong pangalan mo, kailan ka pinanganak, tapos kukunan ka ng litrato at kukunin ang iyong signature. So, itong picture mo at saka yung signature, ilalagay dyan. Ngayon, kung ikaw ay heir, dapat magdala ka rin ng picture ng magulang o ng kapatid o ng asawa. Kasi at the end of our 2-year term, we have to prepare roll of victims, diba? Nakalagay sa batas, kailangan namin ibigay sa Memorial Commission. Eh maganda naman, ang pangalan mo, katabi ng iyong larawan, ay yung pangalan, diba? No? Ito yung pangalan ni victim A, ito yung larawan niya, no? So pagka ginawa ito, kasi magkakaroon ng martial law museum,
is that what,
ganda.
ano po ba yan? Is going to be part of your output sa 2 years ninyo?
Yung roll of victims.
Okay.
And that is the reason why we are trying our best to populate our database. Hindi naman pwedeng yung aming database ay puro sinumpang ang salaysay na nakopyahan ng 1,000 times.
These are two kinds of two classes of human rights victims under the coverage of the board. But there are wala rito, hindi naka-describe yung pangalan nila.
Hindi rin nag-claim under the Hawaii claim.
Paano sila mag-claim ngayon? And that is one thing that is what we will discuss when we come back after this word from our sponsors.